Hi everyone, welcome to the session Python with Machine Learning. But before start the session, please let me know I am audible to you or not. Please put a yes comment in the comment section for then we can start the session. In the meanwhile, let me introduce that Great Learning has came up with a brilliant idea, that is Great Learning Academy, where you will get almost 80 plus free courses, and after complete your course you can claim your certificate as well. That is also free of cost, right? So please use that opportunity as much as you can. And Great Learning also have a Great Learning app, where you will get all the courses, and if you want to use them offline, that feature is also there, right? Please guys, let me know I am audible to you or not, then we will start off with the session. Okay, so I can see some of the yes, so I think we are ready to start it, right? So today we will talk about Python with machine learning, right? And we will see how machine learning concepts are used to solve data science problems as well. So today's agenda is, first we will see why do we need data science, then we will see what is data science, then we will have a little look about life cycle of data science, then we will see why Python is so popular, then I will show you how you guys can install the Python, then we will see statistical visualization with Python and how many users are using Python right now. Then we will check some basic syntax for Python, and then we will see some of the predefined classes we have, that is lead, set and tuple, and we will do the data manipulation using Numpy and Pandas. And secondly we will see the heart of the data science, the heart of everything you can say, that is machine learning. What is machine learning? Then we will see supervised learning and the part of supervised learning, that is logistic regression. And lastly we will do a project, that is credit card fraud analysis using Python, and which will cover all the all the concept you have learned so far. Okay, so let's get started. But I can see in some of the comment that someone asking that do we need any prerequisite to do the session? No, you don't need to have you don't need to do any prerequisite, because we will do all the things from the scratch. Okay, so yeah, so why do we need data science, right? So when this questions comes, everyone, we actually think of why data science is becoming so popular with every day, right? So let me tell you that why data science is becoming so popular. Because previously we used to have a data, the data are structured and the amount of the data was less, but now with the upcoming time the data becomes huge, and the data can come from any resources. They are not at all structured, they are semi-structured or unstructured, right? And we are making data every time. When I'm saying we are making data every time, what actually I mean, suppose you are booking your cab, so you are making the data, right? You are putting the destination, you are putting the your arriving place, right? So this is how you are making the data. You are ordering your food, right? That is in that time also you are making the data. So data is everywhere. Okay, so these data are unstructured, they are not structured, but we have the traditional tools, they are not capable of they are not capable of taking those unstructured data, right? So that time we use data science. Data science has came up with a brilliant idea where we can use this unstructured data and semi-structured data, right? So let's see what is data science. So data science basically is a process where you will get some meaningful information from the massive amount of data. That data, they are unstructured or semi-structured, right? In a simple term, you can read and study your data to get proper intuitive insights. And data science is a mixture of various tools. You will get so many tools in data science. You can use them to analyze your data, to understand your data and get a hidden pattern from your data. When I'm talking about hidden pattern, what are those hidden patterns, right? Hidden patterns are something like, let me give you an example, right? Credit card fraud analysis, right? So from as we are moving towards a cashless society, so for us every day we are doing online transactions, right? For those online transactions, there are some transactions, they are fraud transaction, but for the human it's not possible to understand what are those transactions who have the possibility of fraud, right? In that case we use data science. Data science helps us to understand those attributes to that can be the reason for the fraud transaction. These are the hidden patterns we got using data science, right? So this is what data science is. Now we will see what is the life cycle of data science. First, you need to understand the business problem. When I'm talking about the business problem, you need to understand the root cause of the problem. If you don't know the root cause of the problem, how can you solve that, right? So first step for the data science is you need to understand the root cause of the problem. Then you need to understand that you need to do the data acquisition. When I'm talking about data acquisition, that's that data you need to collect the data. If you don't have data, what you will analyze, right? So we need to collect the data from any resources, right? Those data are the unstructured data or semi-structured data, right? Because you are collecting those data from any resources. Then come the data cleaning, right? You have unstructured or semi-structured data. Now you need to clean your data to use those data for your purpose, for your particular objective, right? In data cleaning is a very initial and important process, right? You need to understand your data. You need to understand what are the parts you need to clean from your data. There are missing values, there are null values, there are misspelled attributes. You need to work with all these things, and that actually takes a lot time to clean your data. When your data is clean, you can go for exploratory data analysis. But when I'm talking about exploratory data analysis, what is exploratory data analysis? Exploratory data analysis is a part of stats. We use some stats concept to understand, I have an idea how our data is, what is the spread of our data, what is the attributes that is really important for our data analysis, right? Because if you don't do exploratory data analysis, you will not understand your data. You will not understand that what is your spread of the data, right? So that time you will not understand how can you use machine learning algorithms, what algorithm will suit for your data, right? So we need to understand our data a lot good way to use some machine learning algorithm, right? So after that we use machine learning algorithm on that, okay? So with machine learning algorithm have some parts we will see in the later in the section, that what are the parts we have in machine learning algorithms and how can we use those part in the project, right? And after you train your data using machine learning algorithm, then we used to predict our model. We need to check that how our model is working, right? And lastly, when your model is working perfectly, you know your model has a good accuracy, you will go for deploy the model. This is the actual whole scenario of a data science, right? Now we will see what are the tools we use, what are the programming language we use for data science. We use SQL, we use Informatica, Python, Java, R, SAS, MATLAB. But these are the few. There are a lot more tools are there we use in data science. These are the basic tools you can say, right? Today we will talk about Python. How can you use Python in data science, Python in machine learning, okay? Right. Now we will see Python. So what is Python? Python is basically popular high-level object-oriented and interpreted language, okay? And it's a high level. When I'm talking about high level, what does that mean? So basically, if you don't have any idea about the programming sites, if you are a newbie, so Python is just a similar like a English, the way you write English, right? So these are the main reason why we use Python for data science. It actually give you a speed for your data as well when you are doing any projects. And it is object oriented. It suppose OOPS concepts, right? Let's see, like who invented Python? Python was invented by Rossum in 1989, right? But obviously understand that why it's called Python, right? It's quite unknown name, right? Because it named Python because the inventor was needed a short, unique and slightly different and mysterious name for his language, okay? In that time he was watching Monty's Python's Flying Circus. From that series he decided to keep his language name Python, and this is how the language end up naming Python, right? And this is the history of Python, you can say. When you start learning a language, you should know the history, what's the history behind that language, right? And now we will see why should you learn Python. To learning Python, there are multiple reasons you should learn Python. Python is simple and beginner friendly language, okay? It's a length of the, when we are talking about a programmer, there are multiple lines of codes we think, right? It comes to our mind, there is thousands of codes will be there. But trust me, for Python, it's just a short length of program you can make because it has a lot more predefined function, predefined libraries. I will show everything to you guys. And if you want to do some mathematical computation, I told you in exploratory data analysis part, we need to do some mathematical computational, some stat computations. So it is very easy to do those mathematical computation using Python. And if you also want to do some wave development, that is also can done using Python, right? And if you are a gamer, you also can use graphical user interface, because Python has a very good graphical user interface that you can use for your game, right? Now we will see why Python is so popular. Python is so popular because of its largest community for learners and collaborators. It has the largest community, guys. It like the learners and the collaborators, and it is open source, okay? And it's already, I told, this is easy to learn like a normal English language, the way you write, okay? And it has a usable flexibility. Okay, it has huge number of Python libraries and frameworks you can use in your project. You don't need to write the code from the scratch. Okay, and Python supports big data, machine learning and cloud computing, all the new upcoming technology which are actually booming, all are supported by Python, right? And Python is also supports automations. Now we will see how can you install Python. For installing Python, what you need to do, you need to go to their official website, that python.org, and you need to download Python from there, right? This is how you can install Python. And before you like if you want to use any integrated development environment, that is IDE, you need to have Python in your local system, otherwise it will not support your IDE, right? Now we will see some of the integrated development the IDE, what we can use, right? What the environment we can use. We can use Pycharm, that is one of the most used IDE, you can say, Pycharm. We have Anaconda as well, right? Anaconda is used for most of the data science, using like what are the developer, they are actually preferred to use Anaconda, because there are some libraries is already pre-installed, and there is a Google Collaboratory that is implemented by Google, right? So today we will use Google Collaboratory, and I will show you how you guys can use that, right? Now comes that statistical measurement of Python user. I am talking about you that I am saying that Python is the best language, but why you guys should understand, why you guys should believe me, right? So you can see the graph, there is after 2016 there is direct increment of a Python. So Python is basically booming right now because of its flexibility, because of its predefined function, because of its all the good thing we can get from the Python, right? Okay, so now we will start with Python, right? So I can see some of the comments over here. Okay, let me check what are the comments I am getting. Okay, so I am getting a question from Akshay Power that okay, so how much approx hours does it take to complete full Python course? So it basically depends on you. If you want to learn the basics, so it will not take a lot time, because I told you that if you don't have any idea about Python, then also Python is something, it does not take a long time, it's a very easy language. So if you want to learn Python from data science or machine learning, maybe it will take 1 month of your time to understand those algorithms as well as Python, because Python is very easy to start with, right? Okay, so right, now we will start with getting started with Python, right? So first, when we talk about any programming language, we need to understand how can we store the data, how can we store something to analyze those things, right? So when we want to store the data, that time comes the technique, you can say, that is called as variable, right? So we need variable to store our data. Okay, so that is the main part you need to know. And for variable, Python does not have any syntax. When you write your value, it will directly initialize the variable, right? I will show you how we can do that, how we can initialize a variable, right? Okay, so yeah, so now we have a types of variable, right? We have int type variable, we have float type variable, we have boolean, and we have string. So what is int? Int is basically the numbers we have, and float that is the decimal numbers, okay, and boolean that is true false, and the string is the character, the name, a sentence, that is we use that is as string. Okay. Okay, so now we will see that basic syntax of Python. Okay, so when I say that there is types of data types we have, but what if you want to use those data types, how you can do that? But for Python you don't need to specify that A is int or B is float, right? What you need to do, you just need to initialize those data into your variable. It will directly fetch the type of your variable. So if you want to see what data types you have, what you need to do, first initialize the variable. Suppose A is equals to 5, and then what you need to do, if you check the type of the variable, just write type A. Okay, that's all you need to do, right? So after that we will see that Python string is very popular, and it's very important when we talk about machine learning or data science concepts. You need to have a good grip on strings, right? So suppose I write data, that is my variable name, is equals to hello welcome to great learning. Okay, so this is how you need to initialize the string in your variable. And you don't need to write that data is a string type variable. It's already took that data is a string type variable. Okay, and now we are going to print data, and then it already comes hello welcome to great learning. Okay, this is how you need to initialize a string in Python. And if you want to do a multi-line string, how you can do that? You need to use the 3 commas, right? The 3 comma, under that welcome to great learning, and that comma, and then the multiple line you have, right? This is how you can use multi-line string as well, right? And if you want to iterate through a string, if you want to pick up particular character from your data, how can you do that? It's just like an array. You need to use a for loop to get that particular character from the string, right? This is how you can do that. Okay, now we will see about that, how you can slice your string. If you say no, I don't want the full string, I want the part of the string, how you can do that? For that you need to, suppose I have a hello world, right? So for hello world, I want only ELL part, right? How can you do that? But before start the indexing, let me tell you that the string indexing start from 0, not from 1. Always keep in mind that string indexing start from 0. Okay, and if you want to get the ELL, how you can do that? So H is basically H, index of H is 0, right? Index of E is 1, index of L is 2, again index of L is 3, and index of O is 4, right? So I want 1 to 4, right? So in the square bracket, we need to say that 1, the variable name first, then the square bracket, and then you need to say 1 that I want from E, right, and till 4. But when you put 4, it will not go till 4, it will go till 3. These are the two things you need to understand, you need to remind when you use that indexing part, that string starts from 0 and string will go, the number you specify string will go before that, right? So it will go 1 2 3, so we will get ELL, right? This is how the string actually works. And if you want to use this negative indexing, you also can start that, you also can do that, and from that, for that indexing start from -1, right? And you can see we have I mentioned that we have hello world again, and I want the string from -6 to -1, right? So here it will give world, right? WORLD, right? You can see that DLROW. This is why this is how the string will traverse. Okay, and if you want to see the length of the string, how can you do that, right? For checking the length of the string, you need to use length function, right? This is how we can use that string function, and we can check the length of the string function. We can slice our string from negative or positive, both the way, right? So I hope guys you are like you are quite okay with string. Please let me know in the comment section below that you don't have any doubts on string. So I will try to answer all the question whatever the question you guys are posting in the comment section, right? Please let me know, please update me that you guys don't have any doubts regarding string, and till now I have covered, right? Okay, now we will see Python list. Okay, now we will see Python list. So for Python list, what is Python list? Python list is a basically predefined function, you can say. Okay, it's provide a concise way to create list which is ordered and changeable. As we have this function, we don't need to go for writing a code from the scratch for the data structure. We know the way we implement a list, right? We need to do that list, and then how in the third bracket, in the square bracket, you need to pass the data. This is how we use list. Okay, and list contains duplicate element. Please guys remind that if you have a duplicate element in your data, list will consider that duplicate element as well, right? And list always maintain the insertion order of your data, right? And list element can be fetched using the same indexing technique, that and the indexing start from 0. Okay, and list can have null values as well. And this is the syntax for list, that list, the variable name I took, and then equals to, and then the square bracket, and then I use the apple, lychee and banana. Okay, this is how we can implement list, right? So let's see how can we initialize list. To initializing list, we need to use, I use that fruit list variable, then the third bracket, then apple, lychee, mango, banana, cherry, right? And this is how you need to initialize the list. This is so simple. You don't need to write anything extra. From the third bracket, from the square bracket, the Python will understand this is a list, right? This is how you can use the list. Okay, and if you want to see the length of the list, yes, you can do that using length function, right? And if you want to add something in your list, how can you do that? Adding something to your list is you use .append function, right? So here you can say I want to append grapes in my list. Yes, what I did, that variable name of the list .append, and then the data I want to append, that is grapes, right? Then I print my variable, that is fruit list. So this is very easy with Python using list. There is one more concept we have, that Python set. Let's see what is the difference between list and set, right? When we have list, why do we need to go for set? We need to go for set because set does not contain any duplicate value, right? So I have a lots of data. So if I want to have a distinct value from that, it's not it's very time consuming to use a for loop to just take your distinct data. So what we have here, we have set. Okay, in set we don't need to do anything. You need to just initialize set, and it will automatically does not contain the duplicate values. Okay, so set is an unordered and indexed collection which is written in curly brackets, right? And please guys remind that difference between list and set, that is very important in interview. For any interview, if you want to go for Python, that time they will ask you the main reason why we need set when we have list, right? So the main difference between them is list contains duplicate value, set does not contain any duplicate values, and you can use set for your project as well. Okay? Set is based on mathematical set concept, right? Set allows null values but does not allow duplicate values, right? It does not maintain insertion order. Set does not maintain the way you insert your values, right? So keep in that thing as well in your mind, that list maintain the insertion order, but set does not maintain the insertion order of your data. So how can you initialize set? To initializing set, we need to use that curly bracket. That's all. Your Python will understand that you want to make a set, right? I use fruit list, after that curly bracket, then the data apple, lychee, mango, banana and cherry, right? And then I print my fruit list, that is the set. And if you want to see the length of the set, the same method we use, that is length, and then you need to pass the data. You will get the length, how many elements you have in the set. Okay, after that, if you want to add something, this is the difference between list and set again. For list we use .append, for set we use .add. If you want to add something to your set after the initialization, you need to use dot add function, right? Dot add, and then the function then the data that is orange. You can see the orange is already entered in our set, but you also can see it does not, the set is not maintaining the insertion order we have. I gave apple, lychee, mango, but it takes mango, lychee, mango, apple, right? It does not maintaining the insertion, order of your insertion, right? So these are the main difference. You guys can note it down for list and set. This is very important when you talk about Python, right? Okay, so now comes Python tuple. So what is Python tuple? Python tuple is also a part of sorry, Python tuple is an ordered and unchangeable collection. It's also a part of collection which is written in round brackets. But why do we need Python? Why do we need tuple? We need tuple because after initialize your tuple, you cannot change your tuple. You cannot add anything to your tuple. You cannot delete anything from your tuple, right? So these are the main difference between these three: list, set, and tuple. Okay. So how can you initialize tuple? You need to use the round bracket. Sorry. You need to use the round bracket, and then you need to pass the data. That is your apple, lychee, mango, banana, and cherry. The same data I am using over here as well. But again, tuple is also maintain your insertion order, right? If you want to have something, some data that will not be, no one will able to change the data after you initialize it. That time we go for tuple, right? Okay. So I think you guys understand the difference between list, set, and tuple. Okay, and if you guys have any doubt, please let me know that what the problem you guys are facing, then I will try to solve those things, right? Okay, so I got a question from Julio Cabrera that which is the best deep learning library. So as per my knowledge, we use Keras for deep learning libraries. Yes, this is actually, it provides so many predefined functions, like if you want to build a model, that is very easy with Keras. So yeah, Keras is one of the best library for deep learning, right? Okay, I'm getting some of the more question. That Akshay Power is asking that is it okay if we don't learn C language in future instead of Python? See, this is up to you that if you want to learn C language. C are actually C is quite old, but again there is a demand of C is there, right? So C and Python is totally different. Python is mostly popular because of its syntax, its simplicity, and the predefined function it has, right? So this is how you can differ both of them. Okay. Okay. So Kompali Mahesh is asking that how can we print a particular element in list or set? Okay, so if you want to print a particular element in list or set, you need to use index number, right? You need to use the index number, and you can fetch the data, right? You can fetch the data using that. So for any list and set, what you need to do, suppose I have, okay fine, let me show you that how can you do that. Right, just a second. Okay, for set, if you want to fetch any particular data, suppose I want to fetch apple, what I will do, fruit list, and the after the square bracket I will write 0, and you will get that particular data, right? This is how you can fetch it. Okay, so okay, tuple. Okay, so Binaya is having a problem with tuple. Okay, I will explain tuple again. Okay. So for the tuple, what we have, tuple is basically ordered. It is a ordered and unchangeable collection, right? What is written in round bracket? We use round bracket for the tuple, right? So if you want to just add something after you initialize the tuple, so in that time what it will do, it will not allow you to do that. So this is the main difference between tuples, list, and set. So after initialization of your list and set, you can add something, you can delete something from that. but after initializing of your tuple, right, you cannot add anything to that. So this is the main reason we are using tuple. Okay, so if you want to use length of the tuple, you use length function, right? Okay, so see, you can see if I already use a tuple, that is tuple 1, okay, and I want to replace a tuple using, I want to replace a data that is the index of 2, right? How can you do that? And I actually want to update that, but no, that will not supported by tuple. I told you that modifying a data in your tuple, adding data in your tuple is not allowed by Python, right? It is immutable. Okay, so this is the main difference between list, set and tuple. Okay, so now we will see what is Python dictionary. Okay, so what is Python dictionary? Dictionary is an unordered collection and the key value pairs enclosed with same curly bracket. Okay, but there is a difference between set and dictionary. Dictionary is having key and value pair, right? So you need to have an idea that when your data needs a key value pair, if your data needs a key value pair, that time you need to use a dictionary on that. Suppose I want to store that I have a 10 apple and 20 orange. How can I say? How can I add that in list and set? This is not possible, right? So that time we need to use dictionary, right? Suppose I say that apple is my key, right? Apple is my key, and the volume of apple, that how many apples I have, that is 10, will be my value, right? And one more thing, guys, understand that key cannot be duplicate. Key is always unique, but a value can be duplicate, right? Right. Fine. So if you want to extract keys, how can you extract key? So extracting key, we use dot keys function, right? So dot keys function is will like give you the all the key you have in your dictionary. Okay, so I have over here apple, orange, banana and guava. These are the keys of my dictionary. So if I just want all the keys from my dictionary, I use dot keys function. Okay, now we have values. How can you get the values, right? If you want to get all the values from your dictionary, how can you do that? To get all the values, not the keys from your dictionary, you need to use dot values function, right? This is how you can access the keys and the values of your dictionary. Okay, so now we will see if you want to modify a data from your dictionary. Yes, you can do that. Fruit and then the key you want to modify. I want to modify mango and I want to modify the how many mango I have, right? So yeah, you can do that as well. And suppose here I give the example of apple, right? I have 10 apple before, now I have 100 apple, right? So how can we change that data? Simple, you need to specify the key of your dictionary and then you need to provide the number of the value, right? Now I have 100 apple, so I want to update that. You can see I use 100. So you can see in my when I print this dictionary, I got apple 100, orange 20 and banana 30, right? So yeah, this is how you can, if you want to add something, you don't need to use any add function or append function. You just need to write the key value, the key and then the value of that key. That's how you need to use dictionary, right? Okay, so I hope guys you understand this dictionary, list, set and tuple, right? And we have dot update function as well. That dot update function help us to merge to dictionary. If you want to merge to dictionary, if you want to update a dictionary, how can you do that? Okay, so yeah, so for that we need to use dot update function. Okay, so I got some of the question that can we change key? No, if you want to change the key, you can update a key, you can update the value of the key. Okay, you can add a new data to your dictionary. Okay, and key is always unique, right? Okay, right. So now if you want to just delete one data, one key from your dictionary, so how can you do that? Using dot pop function. We use dot pop function to just to delete some data from our data. Okay, so suppose I don't want orange, I already orange, I don't like orange anymore, right? So I want to delete it. How can you do that? Dot pop function. Okay, so this is how you can use dictionaries. Now we'll talk about Python libraries. I was talking about there are so many Python predefined libraries we have, and we will use that. Let's see how can we use that, right? Okay, so we use Python libraries for data manipulations, right? But what is data manipulation? Data manipulation is basically a technique which allows you to transform, extract and filter your data efficiently with less time, right? So I told you we have unstructured or semi-structured data, and if we want to transform those data, we need to use data manipulation technique, and that process can be done using two functions of Python, that is Pandas and Numpy. And now we will see the difference between Numpy and Pandas and how this actually helping us. Okay, so Numpy stands for numerical Python. Okay, and it is used to perform mathematical and logical operations on array. So if you want to do some mathematical operation, if you want to do some logical operations, yes, you can do it using Numpy, right? Okay, so Numpy is a Python library. If you want to install Numpy, how can you do that? You need to use pip install and then Numpy. Okay, and how can you import the library? You need to import Numpy as np. When we are using as np, this is actually a alias. ठीक है? If you don't provide as np, nothing will be happen. Every time you need to call a function from Numpy library, you need to write Numpy, full Numpy, right? It's actually time consuming. So we use a alias. You can use any alias. We use np as a alias when we can call Numpy library using np, right? Okay, so now we will talk about Pandas. So Pandas is a popular data manipulation library, and it actually help us to analyze our data, right? And it is based on Numpy. When I'm talking about based on Numpy, basically Pandas built on top of Numpy. Okay, and if you want to install Numpy, you need to use pip install Pandas, and if you want to import Pandas, how can you import that? Import Pandas and again the alias that as pd, right? Now we will see some of the demo using Numpy and Pandas. Okay, right. So here already I made my notebook. So if you guys want to make your notebook, so how can you do that? I will show you. So if you want to use a notebook, that is Google Colab, how can you do that? First, just write in your favorite browser that Google Colab, right? So you will get the first link. Okay, so from the first link, you just need to click on that link. Okay, and you will get new notebook, right? What you need to do? New notebook. Okay, you need to click on new notebook and you will get this, the new notebook. All you need to do in Google Colab is that just go to Google Colab, use the first link and go for new notebook, right? You don't need to go for doing any Python installation and all those things, because it is provided by the Google Colab. Okay, so this is quite using this is quite easy, so I prefer to use Google Colab. Okay, so first we will see data manipulation using Numpy and Pandas. Okay, so first we need to install Numpy, that is pip install Numpy. Okay, yeah, it's getting installed. Now we need to import Numpy, that is import Numpy as np. So suppose you want to create a single dimensional array with Numpy, how can you do that? You need to use np.array and then you need to provide your data. That's all you need to do. Okay, that 7, 8, 9 is my data. I want to create a 1D array, and this square bracket is basically your what is the dimension of your array, right? So I want a 1D array, so I provide one square bracket and the data, that is 7, 8, 9, right? If you want to use a multi-dimensional array, how can you do that, right? For the multi-dimensional array, you need to do the same thing, np dot array, then I provide the first set of the data and the second set of the data, that is 8, 9, 10 is my first state of the data, and 11, 12, 13 is my second set of the data, right? So let me print what I created for the multidimensional array. You can see that is the 2D array, and this is 8, 9, 10 is my first dimension, and 11, 12, 13 is my second dimension. So these are the basic you really need to understand, you really need to know. Okay, if you want to go for Python, if you want to make your career in Python, these are the very basic things you have to be very clear with that. Okay, so if you want to check the dimension of the array, I was saying that this is a single array, this is the multi-dimensional array, but how can you check that? For checking the dimension of the array, we use dot ending function. Okay, so let me check the single array. What I was saying, this is a 1D array. This is actually a 1D array. It gives 1. You guys can see, right? Now we will see the multi-dimensional array. What's the dimension of that multi-dimensional array? I was saying it was 2. Let's see what's, yeah, it is 2, right? This is how you can get the dimension of the array. Okay, and guys, please give me your doubts, for that I can clear it out, not maybe in the live session, but after that I will get back to you guys. Okay, please let me know what doubts you have till so far I have teach you, right? So please let me know. Okay, so if you want to check the memory size of the array, how can you do that? To checking the memory size, you need to use dot item size, right? You need to use dot item size. It will show what's the memory actually using your array. So for my case, it's using 8. Okay, right. So for multi-dimensional array, same thing, I was using item size. Let's see what it will give. Yeah, it will give 8, same. Okay, so for the both cases, the memory uses is same. So if you want to check the type of the array, what is the type of your array? Int, float, string, what? So yeah, for that we use dot dtype function. We use dot dtype function to check the type of the array. Okay, so my array is int 64 type, right? Okay, for the multi-dimensional array, again we use dot dtype, right? For dot dtype, it will give what kind of what is the type of the array, that is int 64, right? Sorry, if you check the size of the array with Numpy, how can you check what is the size of your array? How many elements you have when you are big array, right? We are using short array over here, but if you have a big array, you can't go for a manual checking, right? That time we use dot size function, right? So I use array and then dot size, right? So for the first single array, I had 3 elements. Okay, so we got 3. Right, for the second, let's see, we had 6 elements. Let's see what it's giving. Yeah, we got 6, right? This is how we can get how many elements we have in the array. Okay, now we will check the shape of the array. When I'm talking about shape, it will give how many elements you have in each dimension and what is the dimension of your array, right? This is very important when you want to just check both the thing, that what are the elements you have for each dimension and what is the dimension of your array. Okay, that time you need to use dot shape function. So these are the very basic things, guys. You really need to remind those things to crack some interview. If you want to go for cracking some interviews, yes, you need to have clear idea about these functions, right? So you can see for the single array, I got 3 comma nothing. So nothing means it's a one dimensional array. Okay, and we have 3 elements for the dimension we have. Okay, for see the next one, we have the second 2D. Yeah, for this you can say this is a 2D array. This is 2 first is next is for the how many dimension. This is the 2 dimension and 3 is for these 3 elements we have in the each dimensions, right? And if you want to reshape in the array, we use dot reshape. And when I'm talking reshape, you need to provide how many first what will be the dimension of your array, then how many elements you want. Suppose I want a 3-dimensional array using 2 elements, right? Okay, so let's see, I had a multi-dimensional array that is 2 dimension and each dimension had 3 elements. Now I want to reshape it. Let's see. Okay, so you can see for each dimension I got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and it becomes 3-dimensional array. This is how you can change your array as well. And traversing array is simple, like a normal for loop we use, and then we use for I will be your index. In single array, it will traverse all the elements we have in our array, right? That is, I had 7, 8, 9. You can see it gives me 7, 8 and 9. You can traverse the array like this if the sorry, if the array is 1D array. Okay, if you want to iterate a 2D array, you need to use 2 for loop. That is normal thing, right? So first array will go to your dimension and the second array will go your each element. Okay, so you can see I use 2 for loop for that, and we got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 12, 13, right? For our multi-dimensional array, all the elements we got. Okay, so please keep in mind what is the dimension of your array when you try to iterate the array through for loop. And if you want to concat to array, how can you concat to array? Using dot concat function, right? Using dot concatenate function, you can concat to array. I mean the merging of two array, right? And if you want to sort your array, you can use np dot sort, right? This dot sort function you can get from Numpy. That actually helps you to get the sorted array. Okay, and now comes the array indexing with Numpy, right? So again, the Numpy array indexing also start with 0. Okay, if you want to get the first element from the array, you need to use 0. Okay, so first element was when my array was 90. This is the 90 we got. Okay, so yeah, and for the if you want to get an element from the 2D array or the multi-dimensional array, how you can do that, right? Let me do that for you. Yes, so my array was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so I want the first element from the second dimension. How we can do that? When we want the first element of the second dimension, we need to first specify which dimension you want to go for. So dimension start with again 0 and 1. So when I specified 1, it will take the second dimension. So from the second dimension, I want the first element, that is 0. So you can see we got 11. So this is how we mention that when we go for array indexing with Numpy, when this is a multi-dimensional array. So you need to specify the dimension and which index you want to go for, right? And array slicing, the same thing we saw in list. It starts with 0 and it will, if you give 5, it will go till 4. Okay, so I give 1:5, that I want to go from 1 from the second element and till the fourth element. So I give 5. Okay, so this is how you can use array slicing. So if you want to go for max mean value from the array, how you can do that? Using dot max function and using dot mean function, right? Okay, so now we will see some of them from Pandas, right? So Pandas, if you want to install Panda, you need to use pip install Pandas. But again, Google Colab provide all the libraries inbuilt. You don't need to install all these things. This is the installing Pandas I am showing. If you want to go for some other platforms, right, that time you need to actually install Panda and Numpy as well. Sorry. And if you want to import Pandas, how can you import? Import Pandas as PD. The same thing, the same way we did in Numpy as well. If you want to create a data frame, but before creating the data frame, let's see what is data frame, right? So data frame basically is a two-dimensional data structure. When you go for any project, right, you need to have your data frame. You need to store your .csv comma separated file or any file, that is data frame, right? You need to store that files into data frame. Okay, so data frame is basically a two-dimensional data structure which is aligned in a tabular fashion with rows and column, right? You can fetch the data using rows and column. Okay, here I have a data frame. I created name and then I created Bob, Sam, Annie. These are the name is my column and Bob, Sam, Annie is my data. Okay, again marks is my column, 76, 25, 92 is my data. This is how you can create the data frame. Okay, so we have some built-in function in data frame, that is head, describe, shape and tail. Okay, so yeah, so you can see these are the built-in function. Okay, first let me show how we can create a data frame. So you can see PD data frame, name, then I use Bob, Sam, Annie, Prit, Jyoti, Suvankar, and then the marks is 76, 25, 95, 94, 90, 89, 67, right? Let me print it. Okay, please guys, let me know just if you have any doubt, I will try to answer them, right? Okay. I got a question from Ankit Sarkar that we can import all these libraries in one go. Yeah, we can import all the library in one go, but for your like, just to understand properly, I just use I just try to break it to understand that how you can import the libraries. Yes, you can use the libraries as one go as well. Okay. So I got a question from Reshma Saifi. No, Reshma, you will not get a certificate after the session if you go for, because yeah, for the live session we don't provide certificate, but if you really need a certificate, you can go for Great Learning Academy platform, where you will get also 80 plus free courses. After doing the course, you really will get your certificate after you complete the certificate. Okay, right. So now we got the data frame. Okay, so let's see what are the built-in functions we have. So we have dot head. Okay, so dot head basically will give you the first 5 rows from your data. Okay, so if you have 1,000 lines of data frame, it will give you a first 5 rows of your data. And if you want to specify that how much data you want, in the head bracket you need to write 15 or 20 or 25. It will return that many columns, that many rows to you, right? And we have tail. This tail is basically, it will give the last 5 rows of your column, like in default. Again, you can specify how many rows you want using, like in the bracket you need to specify that 15, 20, 25, how many data, how many rows you want. Okay, after that we got dot shape. Dot shape is basically will give you how many columns and rows you have. For my case, I have 2 column and 6 rows, right? Let's see what it will give. Right, it gives first index is give how many columns, how many rows you have, and the second one how many columns you have. Okay, and there is a describe. Dot describe is basically a statistical measurement of your data set, right? What is the count, mean, standard deviation, 25 interquartile, 25%, 50%, 75%. We use dot describe basically for the statistical measurements. If you want to see the statistical measurement of your data, and if you want to drop your data from the data frame, how you can do that? Use dot drop function, right? If you want to drop column, right, if you want to drop a column, you need to use axis is equals to 1. We need to give the parameter that is axis equals to 1. If you want to drop a row, right, if you want to drop, I suppose want to drop 0, 1, 2, right, I need to provide the index of the row, okay, and the axis is equals to 0. Okay, this is the main difference between when you want to drop column and rows. Okay, so I think you guys don't have any doubt about how to drop a row, how to see a shape of the data frame, how to see the describe, all these things are cleared, right? Now we will just have a little brief look about what is machine learning, right? Now we will talk about machine learning. Okay, so how can you build a machine learning model, and what is machine learning? Machine learning is basically a subset of artificial intelligence that allows the system to automatically learn and improve from experience without being explicitly programmed, right? Let me give you an example, right? Suppose you have a lots of data. To understand that to understand that which transaction is actually a fraud transaction, right? So understand that what is the actually fraud transaction, you need to just try to identify, okay, this transaction is a fraud transaction, this transaction is a not fraud transaction. But manually doing that, it's very time consuming and manual efforts is needed. In that time, machine learning comes with some techniques that actually help us when we train our model. See, this is our training data, this is our data, and you need to learn from this data that what are the transaction is actually fraud, okay, what are the transaction is not fraud. You need to understand from that. So this is how we can train our data, train our model, which help us in future when our model is trained, it's capable of saying that this transaction is a fraud transaction. You need to block the transaction. This is how these big companies are actually using machine learning techniques. Okay, it actually decreasing the manual effort, okay, decreasing the manual effort and the cost as well. Okay, so basically if you want to build a model, you need to have 2 part of data or 3 part of data, that is training data, testing data and validation data, right? Okay, so I hope guys you can understand that what is the what actually machine learning is. Let's see what is the difference between traditional machine learning and actual machine learning. So for traditional machine learning, you need to do explicitly, like you need to program every time to get output, okay, but for the machine learning you don't need to go for program each and every time. Once your machine is trained, you don't need to do anything, you just need to provide the data and you need to say your model, hey model, please say that what is the transaction, is it the transaction is fraud or the transaction is actually genuine, right? Your model will do everything for you, right? So this is how machine learning is becoming so popular day by day. This traditional programming is like, we use traditional programming, but for machine learning to understand, to taking a decision, basically taking a decision, machine learning help us a lot, right? Now we will see types of machine learning. We have supervised learning, we have unsupervised learning and reinforcement learning, okay? So in supervised learning, you can understand by supervising from the like by the what supervising, basically you will, like there will be a teacher who will supervise you, right? Actually it will help you to learn. Your model have a teacher to help your model to learn from that, okay? Basically in supervised learning, we teach or train machine with a label data. Your machine data will have a label. From that label it will understand that which class that data, particular data belongs to, okay? And then you can test your model using those data, but you don't provide the class. So your model will say, okay, your data is belonging from this class, right? Let me give you an example, okay? So you have some attributes to identify this particular person is male or female, okay? Your data will your model will see the attributes it has, and then it will say maybe no you are male, no you are female, right? Or blood prediction, blood sugar prediction. How can you see that? There are some parameters will be there to understand that, okay, this is the reason for that this person will have a blood pressure, blood sugar, right? So your model will say no, this person does not have the blood sugar, this person have a blood sugar problem, right? This is how we use supervised learning. And in supervised learning we have linear regression, logistic regression, decision tree, random forest and naive bias. And for the linear regression we use the continuous value data, and for the logistic regression we use discrete value data. So these are the main algorithm we use when you have a data which is a label data, right? But when you don't have a label data, what you will do? There is one called unsupervised learning. Your model will learn by itself. There will be no teacher, right? By looking at the data, your model will understand, okay, this is the class, this is the part, okay? So this is called unsupervised learning. Your model does not have any teacher. And reinforcement learning is basically you will give penalty if your model predicts wrong, and if you give some reward to your model if your model is right. So these are the main 3 types of machine learning techniques we have, okay? Okay. And I got a question from Venkata that do we have app for Apple devices? Yeah, Great Learning also have their apps. So you can download their app and use all the facilities they are providing in Great Learning Academy as well, okay? So let's see what is logistic regression. So now we will see the concept of logistic regression. So logistic regression is also a part of supervised classification algorithm, and it is used to predict the probability of a target variable, okay? Again, the target variable will be something like the person has a blood sugar or not, this person has diabetic and the person is not diabetic, or this transaction is fraud transaction or the transaction is actually genuine transaction, okay? When we need to understand we need to understand that there will be 2 classes to understand that this is right or wrong. This time we use logistic regression, and for logistic regression we use a discrete type data, not the continuous data, okay? And and this is used to predict the probability of the target variable and the nature of the target or dependent variable. That is discrete again. Please guys remind that we use linear regression for continuous value and we use logistic regression for the discrete value. Okay. I got a question from Kampali Mahesh that are there free online courses to learn about Python? Yeah, we have free courses for Python as well. Please go to our site. For that you can check what are the actually courses we have. They are very helpful. We have courses for Python, machine learning and all the new technique we have right now. So after complete the courses you can go for claiming your certificate as well, right? So yeah, this is I was talking about logistic regression. So this is actually this is how logistic regression works. Okay, and the dependent variable, your dependent variable, the class you actually you need to find, okay, is binary in nature, so that it can be either 1 or 0. That is maybe stands for failure or no or yes, something like that, or diabetic or not diabetic, fraud or not fraud, right? So this is how we use logistic regression. And logistic regression is also known as a sigmoid function, and there is a sigmoid function we use in logistic regression as well when you see the mathematical part of it. Okay, so the function the formula for that function is 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus e value, right? So I hope guys you have a like brief basic idea about what is Python, what are the actual path of Python, and what are the used library in Python, most used library. Okay, and what is machine learning, and what is supervised learning, what is unsupervised learning, what is reinforcement learning, and a little bit about logistic regression. Maybe in the next session we will see how can we use this concept to use to just find that how this fraud transaction you have in your data, or what will be our machine what will be our model accuracy, right? So yeah, this is almost we came to an end of the session, and I hope this help you guys that how you can use Python and machine learning both together in data science. And please guys go to our Great Learning Academy platform, where you will get almost 80 plus free courses for free, and after complete your course you can just go for claiming your certificate as well. Please use the opportunity as much as you can, right? Thank you so much guys, thank you so much to joining the session. I hope it helps you, and please let us know in the comment section that what else you guys want to listen from us. Thank you so much, thank you.